Hey there, I'm Gary Schuster, your friendly neighborhood inventor, and this is Innovation Cafe. Today, I want to talk about the Nobel Prize. Let's examine why it was created. And remember, this is something we talked about in an earlier video about deadly inventions, that even the Nobel Prize has its origins in something, unfortunately, quite deadly. Let's start with the person behind the prize, Alfred Nobel. He was born quite a while ago, 1833, in Sweden. And he was a chemist, an engineer, and an inventor. And he had me beat. He had over 350 patents. He was a smart guy. But he is best known for one particularly important, controversial, and deadly invention, which is dynamite. That's right, the namesake of the Peace Prize, in fact, invented dynamite. Now, dynamite has amazing civilian uses. It revolutionized construction, revolutionized mining. But unfortunately, it also revolutionized warfare. That incredible power of dynamite had a real dark side. It didn't take long for the militaries of the world to start using it, and the level of devastation that war could cause went up significantly. And this weighed on Alfred Nobel. It was a terrible thing to live with, I'd imagine. Let me give you a little bit of setting. It's not uncommon for newspapers to write obituaries for people prior to their passing, and then that way they can quickly publish a complete piece on important people who've passed without having to do all the original research and everything in the few hours they have between the person passing and going to print. Nowadays, of course, it's going to the internet, and it's even less lead time. So there are obituaries for almost every famous person in the world already written by most news organizations in the world. So one day, Alfred Nobel picks up a newspaper, and to his surprise, he reads his own obituary. And the headline on the obituary, "The Merchant of Death." Now imagine you're reading your obituary, which has been inadvertently released early, and you're going to be known for the rest of time as the Merchant of Death. That would be startling. I think anyone would really be taken aback by that. But yeah, he invented dynamite, and it was actually his brother who had passed away, but the newspaper made the mistake and ran the obituary for Alfred Nobel. Now, this was understandably a startling wake-up call. Just like I would be, just like most people would be, he was horrified at how he'd be remembered. He was an inventor. He was a scientist. He wanted to make people's lives better, but had created something that, while it made some lives better, it ended others. And he decided he needed to be remembered for something more meaningful, something that would do what it could to make up for the harm his invention could cause. And that was the Nobel Prize. In 1895, which is just like a year before he died, he decided to leave all but about 5 or 6% of his fortune to establish a series of prizes to honor those who confer the greatest benefit to humankind. That's how the Nobel Prize was born. And I love that about this story, because every inventor can invent something that gets misused, but very few have the moral center and courage to look at themselves in the mirror and say, that is not how I want to be remembered, and let me fix it. And he did. There are categories of Nobel Prizes, and the one that was most important to Alfred Nobel, peace. He hoped to promote peace and reduce warfare and mitigate some of the damage that his amazing invention of dynamite caused. Since it started to be handed out right at the beginning of the 20th century, the Nobel Prize has become one of the highest honors anyone can achieve. It recognizes people who push the boundaries of knowledge, of creativity, of compassion. The Nobel Prize celebrates the best of humanity. One of the most beautiful aspects of the Nobel Prize is it's an example, not the prize itself, but the fact that someone is willing to take basically his entire fortune and use it to make good on the harm that one of his inventions had caused. We didn't see this, for example, from the inventor of leaded gasoline. I mean, there are plenty of inventions that have not inured to the long-term benefit of humans, and people didn't really try to make it right. So I think there's a lot to really respect about what Alfred Nobel did. His decision to fund the prize changed not only his own legacy, but also incentivized and rewarded and recognized countless achievements globally. His story is a powerful reminder that we can redefine ourselves. We can redefine our impact on the world. We can be remembered for something good, even if in the course of our lives we inadvertently did something bad. If you're not inspired by this story, maybe I've done a poor job telling it, because this is a singularly inspirational story. It does really inspire. It shows us that our legacies are not set in stone. The future is unwritten, and we can always strive to do better and to do good for the world. So go ahead, comment, tell me what you think. If you like it, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'm Gary Schuster. This has been Innovation Cafe, and I want you just to take home with you: you're creative, you're amazing, you can change the world, and even if you miss, there's always a second chance, just like there was for Alfred Nobel. Catch you next time.